Hey, how you doing? Here, this is Brother DeVeaux having to jump in real quick for another DeVeaux Speaks. I had a conversation today, and I want to talk about President number 45 and his supposed, contacting the coronavirus and his miraculous recovery. And usually I try not to go too deep in conspiracy theories, and being a mathematician, I want to stick with the science of a situation. But when I read this conspiracy theory that, President Trump never really got the coronavirus, I was like, well, why would you do that? Why would you even pretend? And so I had to start really looking at things. And I remember after that ridiculous, crazy, sickening, disgusting debate performance with him and Biden, just acting like a spoiled child. I was coached the debate team of Hampton High School, and high schoolers had more professionalism and decorum than the way this fool was behaving on stage, disrespecting the moderator, disrespecting the dead son of his opponent, just talking and not letting anybody else speak. It was a really disgusting display. And all the news for the following 2 days was just how horrible Trump's debate performance was, really focusing on his inability to condemn white supremacists, which you would think would be a no-brainer in 2020. But one thing I like to thank President Trump for is reminding us that the nation is still very, very racist. And he's built his whole, base of supporters based on racism. And so having to deal with that for 2 days, not wanting to alienate his supporters as people constantly pushed on him, why can't you condemn these white supremacists? What was going on with that debate performance? Maybe we need to change the rules. The debate just brought into the limelight once again, which he never wants to talk about, is his failed response to this coronavirus. We all knew he knew how dangerous and deadly it was in February. Yet, for some reason, which only benefits himself, not wanting to share it with you and I and the rest of the American public. So that was the stage of the story set following the 2 days after the debate. And after 2 days of him getting these hard hits and getting smacked around for his debate performance and his coronavirus response and not condemning white supremacists, all of a sudden on day 3, he's sick. Matter of fact, the first reports was him and the First Lady, Melania, was sick. I haven't heard anything about her in these last few days. It's all about his recovery and his temperature and his oxygen levels. I hope she's okay, because originally it was they both have it, but haven't heard anything about her recovery or her state. And so now all of a sudden he goes from this terrible racist to once again the victim. And I can look all the past 4 years, he loves to play the victim. Everyone's attacking me and bashing me. Now, look, feel sorry for me. And then, bam, the whole nation like, whoa, he has a coronavirus, and boom, before you know it, he's back coming outside, no mask, talking to people. It's no big thing. It's a miraculous cure. And I'm like, well, what is this about? Like, who scripted this reality show? All of a sudden. So now he went from, this horrible debate performance, this not want to condemn white supremacists, to now all of a sudden he's a victim and with some type of miraculous recovery. And the way his doctors talk, I've been going to doctors for years, I don't even understand. It's like, oh, he's so healthy, it's the healthiest anyone been. He's talking about, oh, I feel better than I ever felt in my life just getting the coronavirus. It's things just aren't adding up. The belief, it was just too well scripted. He didn't, I don't know, maybe he needs to go back to acting class and coaching skills, but it wasn't just convincing to me. I've been on Zoom panels hearing people talk who have the coronavirus and survived, and just how scary it was and how much pain and couldn't breathe. I remember my cousin sharing, cousin right here in the Bronx, my cousin's in Detroit, sharing how scary the coronavirus was and spending time in the hospital. I remember my own fear when my daughter had contacted coronavirus and having to go get the test out in the, those mobile test centers they had, and everyone dressed like they're going for a walk on the moon, and It was a very frightening, scary, humbling experience. And this clown going outside like, let me wave to all my fans. I don't have that experience of people with the coronavirus. I don't know, and I guess his supporters can flip it and be like, oh yeah, well, he was just being brave and strong for us. But even his language after didn't sound sincere to me. He was like, oh yeah, you can't let this thing stop us, or whatever, you can't make it change your life, like. And I guess since he just had it, he can make those statements. But I was just thinking, he said so many disrespectful things over 4 years. Matter of fact, he's so disrespectful that now when people say, yo, did you hear that thing Trump said? After years of it, it doesn't even faze me. I'm like, which thing? Why are you even surprised? Why do you expect him to be any other than he is? Maya Angelou told you, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. And Trump told us who he is from the beginning. He said, I can go shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I won't lose a single supporter. And he's absolutely correct. And if he shoots somebody who looks like me, he'll probably gain supporters. So when I look at this guy coming out, this may be the most disrespectful things he said. And he said many, from insulting Mexicans and people coming up from Central America or drug dealers and all that. From, don't forget, he's at the rally. Look at my African American over there. Look at my African American. Who talks like that? Unless you still think you're owning people. Telling women, hey, I can grab them by their... I can't even say the word. I have to edit the way the president speaks because as an educator, I want my children hearing me use such vulgar language. But basically, I could grab women by their genitalia because I got money and just kiss them in their mouth. They like that. And he's still getting women's votes. Like, this guy's been so disrespectful to the military. People are like, oh, the military supported me. When he's insulting John McCain, oh, you got captured. I like people who didn't get captured. People are overseas giving their life and fighting. A lot of times for reasons they can't even explain, just doing their duty. And this fool's going to sit here and sit back because he had bone spurs, because he was too afraid to go fight. And now he's going to insult people that got captured, disrespected people who died in the military. Laugh. But this one right here, this may take it all. Telling people over 200,000 people dead that, you just can't let it change your life or something like that, coronavirus. Now that he's supposedly had it and made a miraculous recovery overnight, now he can talk to all the other people who've died that maybe they just weren't as strong and tough like the fearless Trump, like he boasted to be. Like, who wrote the script to this reality show that we're all living in now? Like, is this a dream? How disrespectful is that? Because you survived a gunshot, everybody else who died from being shot by guns, I guess they just weren't as weak. I guess they are weak and not as strong as you. Oh, yeah, it's no big thing. I remember people when they were saying smoking, causes cancer. People are like, I smoked my whole life, 90 years old. Yes. Okay, yeah, that's you. But all the other people that dead, look, it doesn't affect everybody the same way. And just because you survived doesn't mean it's not real and dangerous. And so maybe if Trump really did have coronavirus, which I find highly suspect, at least have enough decency to know that if you recovered quickly, be thankful, be appreciative, get down on your knees and pray. Don't get out here saying something stupid like, because how tough you are and how you're not going to let it stop you and control you. That's not how diseases work. You didn't. If you recovered from coronavirus, it wasn't because you wasn't scared of it and you're not going to let it rule your life. You were fortunate, and you should thank your lucky stars, because many people were wishing death on you, but not me. Well, if it was me, I wouldn't admit it on a video. But with this fool, I just thought that comment was so disrespectful. Those who had died because of his lack of response, and all the people who are connected to those, all those 200,000 is probably have 5 to 10 loved ones. It's probably 2 million people that are affected, by someone dying because of this. And this fool's bouncing around back with no mask on, because he's not going to let it stop him. I don't believe it. I think it was another distraction, and this guy's the master of distraction. Whether it's caravans coming from the south or whatever, this guy's the master of distractions, and I think we witnessed the most brazen of them all. Well, that's another DeVeaux Speaks. The date is, October 7th in the morning. Good luck, you everybody. Be safe. and wear a mask.